Welcome back, gamers, Dead or Alive players, and fighting game fans, to part 3 of Juri Han 7's Leifang's survival mode tutorial. If I'm not mistaken, we last left off a bit explaining a layout and analyzing our first few survival opponents, which I believe was Mila, Wang, and Leifang. Without interruptions, again, and not to annoy you gamers or any further interruptions, let's continue talking a bit and analyzing a bit the rest of our remaining opponents as best as we can. Alright, here we go, guys. As you can see, currently I'm facing Helena on survival mode, and we're gonna talk about you know, the zoning and spacing area that you should confront Helena and that favors Leifang. I would say you should maintain a zoning or space area within like a three step radius away from her, or three and a half steps away from her. You should be fine, and it favors you. Now Helena's habits includes like you know, her crazy slap strings or strikes, and you know, obviously going into low stance to confuse you. When she's on her low stance, she likes to when she's close enough to you, she likes to go for a launch throw, which she can do from her low stance. Helena's not really that dangerous when it comes to reaching distance to, you know, reach you. But she does have like a move or in one of her arsenals that has a pretty decent reach, or one that you should look out for. Therefore, you should maintain your 3 steps or 3.5 steps away from her to avoid it. It's simply a low stance sweep. She does during her low stance. You know, obviously, it's easy to identify it. It's basically like one where she does like a spin while she's obviously in the low stance, and it has a bit of reach. It has, I would say, it covers between 2 steps away from her, or 2.5 steps away from her. But as long as you're within like the 3 step or 3.5 steps away from her, you should be safe from getting hit by it and therefore punishing her as she does. That's pretty much it. I can analyze or lay out for Helena when dealing with her. Other than that, you know, like I said, always look for, always maintain that space that I mentioned and that good zoning that favors you. And let's get started trying to defeat our Helena opponent on survival mode. Again, we're going to try to identify and point out her hitbox. If Helena, the AI, exposes it to us, sorry. If the AI exposes it to us, and then we can just punish it whenever we are able to detect her hitbox recovery frame. So let's get started. For some reason she's just sidestepping, but whatever. She doesn't do anything. Just throw out your 1 PK. Oh, hold on, let me just put a little bit of volume on the TV. It seems a bit low. This should be good. Let's open a hitbox right there. She was actually trying to go for a throw. I don't know why. And she's dead. Here we have Lisa as our next opponent in survival mode. Let's talk about Lisa. Lisa is by far probably your most threatening opponent you'll ever face on survival mode, and part of your biggest pain to deal with. I will go as far as bring a comic book reference and call her part of your kryptonite if you're not careful. Superman reference. The reason why is because overall, when it comes down to advantages and arsenal she has, she can pretty much deal anyway. And you know, when the stacks are up against Leifang, simply because obviously Lisa La Mariposa, her alternative gimmick, she's an aerial person, and her reach is good, and she can zone in with her stupid aerial arsenals very quick on you. So she's just unpredictable to deal with, and you never know exactly like what's her reach with her arsenal attacks, and how quickly she can zone in on you and apply the pressure to you, and you're gonna be kind of struggling with getting her off most of the time. But if you play smart, you play patient and Ben, you're familiar with her, you shouldn't have a problem that much. Just mix up your launches, your stun priority attacks, and you go for the juggle combos and combo her a bit, and you should be fine. And you can play, or you can throw like Leifang's charge attack, but I recommend that you don't charge them at all, or you charge them at a small amount. Don't ever go for full charge unless you're very skilled, because that'll give Lisa or La Mariposa enough time to zone in on you with her annoying aerial attack gimmicks or habits. She's a bit also unbalanced and unpredictable because she has an annoying throw similar to King from Tekken, which she can get on your head, and then she can just bring you down with her legs like a Hurricanrana thing. The thing about this throw to look out for is that if it connects as a high counter throw, which basically means like let's say you're attacking her and your attack misses, and instead you get catch by a throw, is gonna receive bonus damage because it served as a counter throw. And you know, if Lisa catches you with that annoying throw, it's gonna suck a chunk of your life, about a quarter of your life, if I'm not mistaken. So what that means is pretty much you want to avoid that stupid throw from her. So pretty much if you gotta watch out for them, because if you're not careful, 4 of these can cost you the entire progress, even if you're full in health. So you want to avoid that throw as much as possible, and try to look for it, or watch out for it. Obviously, I don't know if I mentioned this, but I'll bring it up. You're asking me what's the safety zone or the spacing to deal with La Mariposa or Lisa Hamilton. I will say stick to 3 steps to 3.5 steps away from her. Because like I said, you don't want to be too close to her. You can have actually 4 steps away from her, which is probably very safe. Simply because of her stupid zoning habit that she can do at will, just like Ayane. So yeah, keep between 3.5 or 4 feet away from her, and you should be fine. As long as you're familiar with a bit of her aerial gimmicks, then you should be fine. That being said, let's get on with it and then see if we can defeat Lisa and expose and identify and expose some of her hitbox recovery frames that Lisa throws at us. So let's get started. As you can see, the combo does decent damage. Oh wow. Alright, we managed to deal with her. Thank God. This is Our next opponent is Pai Chang. Um, you know, you're probably asking, what does Pai Chang do? What is her habits? What is her arsenal? Um, Pai Chang is obviously very dangerous up close, simply because she likes throwing like strings of very quick strikes, followed by a mixture of kicks or sweeps, and some kind of weird thing that she can counter most of your attacks. Um, Other than that, she has a few moves that have incredible range and you should watch out for. Like which includes a kick that it's similar to, say, Jen Lee's dragon kick, and Elliot's spinning mid-air kick, which is also similar to Jen Lee's. But it's very easy to punish because the frame execution is very slow compared to Jen Lee and Elliot. But her biggest reach, which can cover about 2 steps to, to, to 2.5 steps away from you, and that's why you should maintain, I would say, 3 to 3.5 steps away from her as your good zoning area, or your, the spacing or zoning that favors you versus Pai Chang. Um, is a um, is a move that it kind of looks like a cartwheel. She does. It has incredible reach, like I said, and you can easily get caught if you're reckless and you're close to her, near 2.5 feet to 2 feet away from her. I mean 2 steps. Sorry, 2 steps. I'm sorry, I keep losing it, but you get the point. So yeah, the key space area is between 3 steps and that. And other than that, you should only worry about her getting close to you and watching for that annoying cartwheel that has incredible reach. Other than that, most of her hitbox recovery frames are easy to identify. So let's get started with facing her and see if we can identify them. There's a hitbox right there. That's you see that move? That's the attack I was telling you about. That's similar to Jen Lee's dragon kick, but thankfully, I punished it before I was able to make contact with me. So as you can see, the execution's not that fast. If you have a lot of experience with it, you know exactly when to unleash it. Wall trap. Oh wow. Wall trap. That was a hit frame right there. Oh, that's the cartwheel I'm talking about. That has a good reach. I got caught in it, unfortunately, but whatever. I'm gonna punish her, and it worked. This is Tina Armstrong, our next opponent. What is Tina's danger is? Obviously, her danger relies up close. Um, she likes to do a couple of strings, like a low sweep. She likes to randomly, but rarely, like, do that funny move where she throws herself at you, but like backwards, because she's actually trying to hit you with her butt or ass, which has incredible reach, by the way. It can cover like close to 3 steps away from you if you're not careful, but it already comes out, so you don't have to worry about it until like maybe later on the higher defeat levels of Tina. But if you're lucky, it won't ever come out, as long as you maintain it within the zone that you're supposed to. Besides that, she likes to do simple strings of strikes, which consists of probably two strikes, followed by a low kick, or she likes to go for a low sweep that has quite a bit of reach. But if you're within 3 steps or 3.5 steps away from her, you should be fine from ever getting caught on it. And every time she misses is obviously going to be a hitbox and very easy to detect and identify. Once again, you try your best to keep away from her because she's a bit of a throwing machine when she gets close enough to you, and she will abuse it and try everything on her part to abuse foregrabs and combo throws. And she also has ground throws, like that she can still punish you if you're like laying on the floor and trying to get up. So yeah, pretty much she's very dangerous only up close most of the time. That being said, about 3 steps or 3.5 steps being your safe distance, or the zone in your space that favors you. Let's get started and try to identify and deal with the Tina's opponent AI. Hitbox right there. Alright, our next opponent is none other than Riggs, our rather disturbing Taekwondo tattooed up guy. Riggs really is not a. Sorry, going back to Tina, she's a bit of a punching bag, as you know. As long as you know what you're doing and how to deal with her, so don't worry about her too much. Just stick with what I told you, and you'll be fine. If you never get caught, or you keep her away from her getting ever close to you. So she's more or less a bit of a punching bag. But at the same time, don't let your guard down ever on her, because she could be a bit more dangerous than her fighter bass. Alright, that being said, let's go back to our current opponent, which is Riggs. Riggs, he's not very hard to deal with. In fact, he's one of the few opponents that I like to call punching bags or lifesavers, because if you pretty much get his routine, you're not gonna get killed ever by this guy. He's always gonna be a person that falls for your gimmicks and your traps, and he's always gonna be kept away from you, from ever touching you that much. But once again, he's very dangerous if he gets close to you, or is around two steps or 2.5 steps away from you. So your key number of steps being zoning yourself away from him, and keeping the distance is between 3 and 3.5 steps away from you, and just maintain that space. He'll pretty much will never reach you with his kicks, or whatever strength he tries to throw at you with his kicks. And that being said, he's not much of a threat if you maintain that thing. He'll pretty much will never reach you with his kicks. If he gets close to you, just be patient a bit and block as much as you can his strikes or kicks, and then whenever you see an opening, try to go for the stun priority, and then into launch, and then into small juggle, and then once again reposition yourself to the 3 steps, 3.5, and then continue on your bait game of throwing your charge attacks with Leifang, and then punishing him, and you'll be fine. That being said, in breaking down Riggs, let's get started and try to defeat him, and try to identify his hitbox. Yeah, the hitbox. Obviously, it doesn't do anything, you just throw him. Hitbox right there. See? Hitbox. Hitbox. Alright, this is Christy. Christy, her main gimmicks and habits are mostly, she likes to roll, forward roll, and then start her poke strike strings on you to try to pressure you. Or she likes to roll to any side, if it's either upward or downward, and then she tries to, after rowing to the side, she likes to forward dashing a bit. She likes to forward dash towards you, and then continue her string strikes to try and reach you and pressure you, even if you block. I suppose the magic number for dealing with Christy and keeping the distance that favors you in the zoning the area, and in position wise, it's more or less like 4 steps away from her. You may ask yourself why so far. Well, because the fact that she mostly has a habit of rolling forward, that gives you like enough. She actually is zoning herself close enough to you so that you're within reachable distance with your charge attack. So she's actually being kind of retarded and actually walking into your trap or the zoning area where you can actually punish her for her exposed uh, hitbox that she opens up for you while doing roll. Her hitbox is easier to identify most of the time. Although she's a bit faster than Bayman, she's not that hard to deal with. She's also a bit of a punching bag if you know what to do and you always maintain focus on her. She's not hard to deal with. She's a bit of a life giver if you're low on health and you're worried about getting your butt beat by an opponent. So if you ever get this opponent and you know what you do, just put a smile on your face because you know she's easy to deal with. Her hitbox most commonly is the one where she does the forward roll, obviously, and if you can reach her, you can pretty much just like execute it before she finishes a row, which is pretty much when she's in the middle of her row animation where she's like in the middle of ending it, and then that's pretty much it. That being said, that's pretty much all I have to say about her. I'm pretty much gonna try to defeat her now, and then see if she can expose us some of her open hitbox. Obviously she got too close to us with this juggle. Whatever, she didn't do anything, but it's okay. Okay, our next opponent is Bayman. Bayman is similar to Christy that we just faced. The only difference is that he's slightly a bit slower than Christy, so he's a bit easier to deal with. But at the same time, he has his advantages versus Christy, his rival and nemesis. He's a bit like more stronger when it comes to if he connects with a strike on you versus Christy's damage that she can inflict on you. So you shouldn't let your guard down regardless of Bayman. But at the same time, because he's a bit slow, he's more easier to see his hitbox more easier than Christy's. His habits are similar to Christy. He likes to mostly like roll forward and then begin like a few strings combos of consisting of punches and kicks, or he likes rolling sideways as well, like Christy, and then rolling forward or something like that, and then starting his thing. He's dangerous up close mostly because he's also a bit of a grappler, so you want to avoid being close to him. And his grapples can do a lot of damage, and on higher levels he likes to do grapple combos, and they're kind of harder to break on higher levels. So try to avoid him, like try to keep him away from getting up close. Like, so your magic number is similar to Christie's, but like maybe half a step less. So keep your distance of Bayman about for the zone and the area position that favors you to 3 steps to 3.5 steps away here, and you should be fine. That being said, let's get on with it. Let's see if we can identify some of his hitboxes or the AI exposes it, and then we can cream or crush him. Obviously, he got close to us and you gotta throw him. I'm gonna sidestep right now. Open hitbox right there, see it? Open hitbox. Open hitbox. Open hitbox. And the low sweep. Alright, this is Akira. A lot of people say that Akira is a pain in the butt when they're probably playing as Alpha 152 or Coco, Lisa, but he's very easy to deal with versus Leifang, or when the stakes are up against Leifang. Simply because of the advantages Leifang has over Lisa and Alpha, as mentioned. Sorry, Lisa players and Alphas. I'm not trying to hate on you, but I'm trying to the truth. But yeah, like I said, he's mostly like a punching bag. He's a sweetie pie against Liu Fang. He's only dangerous like up close, obviously. So like your good zone or areas, obviously, again about 3 steps or 3.5 steps away from him. Because his reach is not that like threatening. I mean, his biggest reach is probably like between 2 to 2.5 steps away from you that he can reach you. Which consists of like a fist striker, which a strong fist striker, which can launch him a bit forward, and it looks like a charge most of the time. If he can also not charge it, but he mostly charges it most of the time. He's also one of the few opponents that is actually easier to identify and read and see coming the hitbox being exposed, simply because he pretty much just does like strikes or strings of strong strikes. Um, on the side note, he's also a very easy character to counter if you want to go for counters instead, and when he gets up close to you. He's a mid counter most of the time, so most of his strikes are mid. But at the same time, I wouldn't recommend like you try to go for counters unless like you have a decent amount of health. Let's say more than half of your health. Otherwise, you can just like go defensive and then just wait for him to stop attacking you with one of his simple strikes, which don't have that much incredible reach, and then just try to go for the stun priority, and then go for a launch or simple shake off of forward, punch K punch, and then shake him off, and then reposition yourself on the 3 steps or 3.5 to keep up the pressure on him. That being said, let's try to deal with Akira now and identify the hitboxes. And I see he got close because I was obviously chatting. All right, now we position it. See that's the charge I'm talking about. Open hitbox right there. Open hitbox. You know, he didn't do anything, but whatever. Our next opponent is Bass Armstrong. Bass Armstrong is another punching bag, but at the same time, he can be threatening if you let your guard down. But if you play your cards right, he's very easy to deal with. As I stated again, he's a punching bag if you know what you're doing at all times and you don't lose your cool. It's not very hard to remember what to look for Bass. He's actually a bit less threatening than his daughter somewhat, because he has less agility than his daughter. Bass's only big threat is obviously if you're up close and he catches you on his throws, because a few of his throws have incredible damage, which I think is kind of broken. Mostly like if he catches you up close with a throw, when you're trying to attack him and it turns into like a high counter throw, it's gonna suck a whole chunk of life, which is kind of cheesy. Most of the time, there's one he has that it sucks more than a half of your life, I would say, close to that, and that's very cheap. And I'm sad to say, but teenagers, to hear me, they have to patch it a bit and reduce it at least by a quarter of the damage, because damn, I mean, really, like a throw can suck up more, like half of your life upon high counter. That being said, just stay away from him and you'll be fine. Your magic number of zoning and positioning or spacing yourself that it favors you should be 3 steps, 3.5 steps away from him. Good evening, gamers. and they're live players, and welcome back to our part 2 of our tutorial of part 3. Part 3's tutorial mode, sorry. I apologize ahead of time that my tutorial and video parts are a bit awkward. It's because I'm getting used to my new camera, and my new camera seems to have a limit of filming about 30 minutes per filming shooting. So every time it hits a 30 minute mark, it seems to stop recording for some reason, and also my battery dies real quick. So that being said, I sincerely apologize, and I ask that you bear with me, that you're getting this nice tutorial mode at least being made by me. I think we left off, if I'm not mistaken, by analyzing bass. However, I'm gonna analyze them a bit to add further information when we get back to him. But for now, obviously our opponent is Jinfu, so we're gonna analyze him for now instead of bass, and concluding bass is analyze. Jinfu is a bit of a mixed bag. Or he's a random guy. So what is it called? He's very random. He's sometimes confusing, and you never know what he might throw at you. Obviously, his danger area is between up close and a bit mid-range, close range, put it that way. He's a type of person that later on the higher difficulty defeat levels, he becomes a bit smarter, because if you miss up hitting him with let's say your 1 PK game, her charge attack, he will not hesitate to punish you. You know, and that's pretty much what he does every time you miss hitting him or getting him to block your charge attack. So that being said, you're probably asking me now, what is his safety zone, and his you know, I mean the zone and spacing that favors you. Well, that magic number happens to be 3 steps to 3.5 steps away from him. Because he has a few moves that he can zone in a bit if you're not careful, which is kind of like a small charged attack that he launches forward a bit, between 1 step to 2 steps forward, and he can reach you if you're not careful or you're too close to him a bit. So yeah, stick to 3 steps to 3.5 steps away from him, and you'll be fine. And well, that being said, let's get down to business and see if we can detect some of his hitboxes and identify them. Hitbox right there. Hitbox right there. Alright, our next opponent is Ryu Hayabusa. Obviously he's a ninja. What should we call it? So he excels in agility and speed, zoning. He's a very fast character if you're not careful. His strength is mostly between close range and close mid-range, put it that way. So your magic number and safety zone range for him, and you know, the space that favors you in zoning would be will be between 3.5 steps to maybe 4 steps. You know, you don't want to be too close to him or too far. We'll see. not that too close, like 3.5 steps, simply because Ryu Hayabusa has a few arsenal moves that have a bit of good reach, and you want to avoid getting caught by those. Mostly like some of his good reach ones are like those triple or double mid-air kicks that he does, which Ryu Hayabusa players can identify, which is executed by punch punch, kick kick kick, or something like that. Or you can just like just tap hold plus kick at the same time, and then tap like kick 3 times, and then he'll do a mid-air triple kick or something like that, and then that has incredible reach if you're not careful. Besides that, he likes to abuse his Inzuna drop on higher difficulties, so you want to avoid obviously him getting close to you. That being said, like I said, stick to your 3.5 steps or 4 steps, the most being distance from him, because you want to be too far away, because if you miss, it's possible that Ryu Hayabusa would try his best to punish you. Pretty much that being said, let's try to deal with Ryu Hayabusa and see if we can identify some of his hitbox exposure to us. See, there you go, he's trying to cheat that move. Hitbox right there. Hitbox right there. Hitbox right there, there you go. Hitbox right there. We're almost done with him. Alright, our next opponent is Zach. You can just say that Zach is probably the most weirdest character, awkward and goofball enemy opponent you'll ever face in survival mode. Simply because of his ridiculous and ironic, strange habits or arsenal he likes to throw at you randomly. Zach is obviously dangerous up close because obviously he likes to confuse you with his fist strikes, followed by low knee attacks or low kick attacks that kind of get irritating or annoying if you don't know how to counter them. Besides that, he has a few arsenal moves that can have a extremely good reach, such as a weird cannonball somersault that he yells like a maniac, something like Yahoo. If you have his voice to English or maybe in Japanese also, he says Yahoo. Yeah, Yahoo! Get it like that? I'm sure some of you Zack Encounter players are familiar with that if you ever face Zack players. And it has incredible reach. It can reach up to maybe 2.5 steps away from you. So that being said, your magic number and spacing that favors you against Zack is mostly like 3.5 steps to 4 steps away from him. It's your safety zone right there, and your zoning and your spacing that favors you, and has an advantage. If you maintain that space, even if he throws his biggest reach attack, you're not gonna get hit. If you play smart like me. The funny thing about Zack is that he randomly throws taunts here and there. And the funny thing is that if he throws a taunt, like let's say he does a stupid taunt like the most popular one is the Zack Bean one, which is lame. Any taunt he does is pretty much a open hitbox. As long as the taunt doesn't finish entirely, it's mostly like a free hit. So you can thank Zack if he ever taunts you and just take advantage of the free hit. But one thing to note is that take advantage of it as fast as possible. Don't take your time or hesitate to do it. Doing so will actually cause him to finish his taunt and then be able to defend himself when you try to attack him. That being said, just be aware of his taunt that it's a free hit, no matter what. As long as it doesn't finish, it's a free hit. That being said, and me pointing out that 3.5 steps away from him is your magic number of good space versus him. Let's get started and see if we can cream him and detect hitboxes of Zack. There you go. See, that's the one time. Free hit right there. See? Free hit. Well, it looks like Zach didn't put much of a challenge. He just pretty much goofed around with his taunts, but that's good for us. Our next opponent is Akira, but we're already danced, so we're gonna skip him. We're just gonna try to defeat him. We went over him already, so don't worry about it. He's a punching bag, obviously, if you know what you're doing. Hitbox. Hitbox right there, see that? He's dead already, see how easy? Alright, this is what we need to analyze Ayane. Ayane is obviously a ninja. So just like Ryu Hayabusa and Hayate and Kasumi, she excels in speed, agility, Abizoni, and aerial. Let me just say that Ayane has two zone advantages, similar to Jen Li. Her advantages of zoning and spacing is up close and also maybe mid-range close and also too far away. So that what that means is that you don't want to be like too close to her, or you don't want to be far away distance from her. You're probably saying, what do you mean, Juri? What I mean is that if you're too close to her, obviously she's going to try to abuse her and take advantage of her quick strikes. You know, like her spinning slaps and all that. And she has a couple of arsenal moves that have incredible reach if you're not careful. And you don't maintain the proper space that can hit you. One of the main ones that is annoying is this torpedo kick that I'm pretty sure you Ayane players that played Ayane enough, have faced Ayane enough times know what I'm talking about. It's similar to Street Fighter is Kami's moves, which are the, what is it called? Is either the cannon drill or the cannon spike? I forgot what it's called, but you get what I'm saying. It's the one that it's like a speedy torpedo kick that it goes across the screen, and Ayane has a similar move like that. So you want to avoid that, and that covers about 2 steps to 2.5 steps of coverage of distance. So if you're within that range, you're gonna get caught, and you don't want that. So your magic number for Ayane that favors you of spacing and zoning is about 3.5 steps. Pretty much the same thing as Ryu Hayabusa. So stick to 3.5 steps, and try not to exceed like 4 steps away from her, because at the same time, like I said, it'll be dangerous, because if you mess up and you're out of reach of punishing or reaching Ayane with your 1PK charge attack, Ayane is gonna do her best to like zone in quick on you and then punish you and pressure you with her quick strikes if you're not careful, and you don't want that to happen. So like I said, don't be too close or too far from her, and you'll be fine. Just be like around, always like maintain a 3.5 steps away from her, you'll be fine. You'll be safe from getting hit by the torpedo kick she does, or randomly likes abusing, and at the same time, every time she misses is an instant hitbox. So right after it misses hitting you, just unleash your 1PK, and it will just like land on her and punish her without any chance of her countering it and stuff. That being said, let's get down to business here. She's obviously not abusing the torpedo kick right now, but she abuses it like later on the defeats. This is Christy, so we're just gonna like go through her because we already went over her on the previous video parts. I see she's too close, so we're gonna shake her off. Hitomi, I don't think we went through Hitomi, so we're gonna evaluate her. Hitomi is mostly dangerous up close, and if you're not careful, far away too. She could punish us rather real quick or simple if we are too far away and therefore we can't reach her with the 1 PK even if the hitbox is exposed to us. Um, Hitomi is a rather a bit easy person if you spend time with her to read her hitbox. But at the same time, it doesn't mean that she doesn't have advantages. She has a couple of uh, attacks that have incredible reach or can reach you if you're not careful. Mostly her kicks. Hitomi kicks have incredible reach most of the time, so you gotta watch out for that. Um, so your magic number pretty much for dealing with Hitomi is also a 3.5, I would say. Also three steps, three steps away from her, it can also work, but provided that you take your chance and you hope that she doesn't abuse her kicks that have incredible reach, then you'll be fine. Otherwise, stick to three steps away from her and you'll be fine with zoning properly against her and that fares you. Hitomi's hitbox mostly consists of simple strikes that like the hitbox is obviously after 1 or 2 strikes she misses attacking you or hitting you with. So that's your hitbox right there. She's dangerous like up close obviously because she likes to abuse her strikes and kicks that are either lows or mids, and they're hard to guess if it's a high or a mid kick or a low kick. So just avoid as much as possible being close to her. If she gets close to her, just simply shake her out the same method I've been showing you guys. And also she randomly likes doing like her combo throw, which is like she brings it down and she tries to knee bash you in the ground. That being said, if you avoid her being up close, you'll be fine. Alright, let's get started and deal with Hitomi and then see if we can detect some of her hitboxes. Hitbox right there. Right, our next opponent is Kokoro. Now a lot of players complain that Kokoro gives them a pain playing survival mode against Lisa or Alpha 152. But she's not that hard to deal with against Leifang simply because of the so many advantages that Leifang has over Lisa and her incredible reach she has. Kokoro obviously is dangerous up close. So your magic number for her is similar to Kasumi, which I'm gonna get to her eventually, Kasumi. So you want to keep about half a distance for her, which is equal to 4 steps. 3 steps, yeah, you can, 3.5 steps, not 3 steps, 3.5 steps you can also use, but it's a bit risky, like especially if on higher defeat levels of Kokoro. So I would say your magic number of spacing zoning that favors you is 4 steps, which is close to half a screen or a half a distance from her, away from her. She's not that hard to deal with, like I said, because of your incredible reach you have. And her hitbox at 4 steps is easy to detect. Mostly like because they're simple strikes that Kokoro tries to throw at you in hopes of reaching you. You may be saying, why too far away? It feels like it might be too far away from her. The main reason is because the AI, like on higher difficulties and mid difficulty level defeat levels, is that when she does her hitbox strikes, usually like she is able to travel or zone in closer to you by about 2 steps forward towards you, and that gives her enough room to get within reachable distance for your one PK or charge attack to land at her when she exposes her hitbox. And then you don't have to worry about, being that close to her because of that. And also, because of that, that's also dangerous if you're within 2.5 feet away from her, three steps, because if you're not careful, it can actually reach you before you release your 1 PK on her, or your charge attack. That being said, let's try to deal with Kokoro and deal with her the proper way and detect the hitbox. Hitbox right there. Hitbox right there. Hitbox right there. See, so easy, right? Riggs, yeah, I think we went over him, so you can just skip him. Hitbox right there. Hitbox right there. Hitbox right there. This is so easy. Alright, our next opponent is Jen Lee. Jen Lee, obviously, he's one of the persons that if you're not careful, he can really do some damage on you. Jen Lee has 2 zoning advantages, or 3. He's obviously dangerous very up close because of his annoying big string combos that have stun priority most of the time, which are mostly like punches. And he has like a kick that he can do on you, which is like he kicks you on the knee or the leg to stun you, and then he can juggle you. He can like start a combo which is in a very painful juggle. He has obviously the dragon kick, which he likes to abuse if you're way too far away from him. So you don't want to be too far away from it, nor too close. So your magic number for dealing as Jen Lee is... Your magic number for dealing with Jen Lee is 3 steps. Yeah, 3 steps away from him, maybe 3.5 steps, but that's a bit too far away, a bit. So it's between 2 steps to close to 2.5 steps away from him, and you'll be fine. Not too close, not too far away. Just be aware that if you're too far away, he's gonna abuse the dragon kick, and you know how much that hurts. You don't want to deal with that. As long as you maintain the 3 steps range, he'll most likely not abuse the dragon kick. He'll instead try to go for his basic strings, which are easy to detect the hitbox if you're smart or you spend some time getting Jen Lee the AI. That being said, let's try and deal with them now, and let's show an example of hitboxes and your proper zoning that favors you. See, he fails, so that's hitbox. Alright, we apparently missed. Hitbox right there. Hitbox. Okay, so we did with Jen Lee. Our next opponent is Sarah Bryant. She's not that hard to deal with. Maybe in higher difficulties, she is. So maybe, yeah, like I said, maybe on higher difficulties she is. So but for now she's easy to memorize and deal with. Her dangerous zone is obviously up close because she tries to, she tries to get you in a couple of strings that consist of jabs or fists, punches, and kicks that have a bit of stun priority. And if you're not careful, or if you're not good at getting out of stuns, she can just like get you in a crazy combo that does a tremendous amount of damage on higher difficulties. So you want to avoid that. One thing to note is that when you try to confront Sarah Bryant with even on your safety zone, or your your the zone that favors you, distance from her, is that don't try to charge attack or the 1 PK attack of Leifang's. Just like execute it fast without non-charging, or do a small charge if anything. Don't go for a medium or high charge because it's risky, especially on higher difficulties. You always want to go for non-charge ones or small charge ones to make sure that they hit Sarah Bryan during her hitbox recovery frame, because Sarah Bryan seems to be able to sidestep some of them on higher difficulties or counter them. Partly because maybe she has a bit of a high recovery than basic opponents that we face. So your magic number for keeping a distance from her is three steps. 3 steps, you're fine. That's pretty much it. So now you're 3 steps of distance from her, and you'll be fine. You're pretty much be safe from getting caught from her things as long as you read her hitbox ahead of time, and always punish her with non-charge or small charge attacks. That being said, let's deal with her now. Hitbox right there. Hitbox and a wall trap. Hitbox right there. Alright, this is Lisa. So we obviously went through her, so we went to go through her again.
Lado Mauricio, que voy para estar volado. A ver si la otra semana vamos allí al Hondipo. El sábado o el domingo.
Alright, we got time to evaluate Mr. Bass again, or Mr. Strong, his goofy name. Bass Armstrong, like I was where I left off on the previous tutorial part of part 3. Bass Armstrong is we'll say like a crazy guy. I mean, his advantages obviously is up close because of his grappling habits and the tremendous amount of damage they do. And he has a couple of throws that do tremendous amount of damage upon high counter types. Like, say for example, if you're grabbed in the middle of an attack that obviously his throw is faster, came out faster than your attack, is going to turn into a high counter. And it does a tremendous amount of damage. One of his throws that it may throw like on higher difficulties, it can suck up close to half of your health, and that's extremely cheap and cheesy, and they need to patch it up, if you ask me. I know he's a wrestler, he's slow, but seriously, that's way too much damage for a throw. That being said, your magic number for him should be about 3 steps, and you should be fine. He's very easy to detect his hitbox because the AI is mostly incredibly slow. And that being said, just try to deal with him and see what happens if we're able to detect some of his hitbox. Hitbox right there. Hitbox right there. Hitbox right there, and a wall trap. I'm gonna try to shake him off. We did.